executing the contract with Black America. Everybody understand that is needed and is necessary. So I don't mind anybody in the public sector or in the private sector using parts of it, asking me about it, asking for me to understand, what am I talking about when it comes to trying to not count us as minorities, but to count us as, pretty much a protected race. And so I think we're being buried under a lot of words like minority and people of color and things like that. Now, their plan is still their plan. It's not my plan. Their plan, like all of them, don't go far enough. All of them can be better, but these are just the facts of what happened. This is the Biden campaign basically said, we love 85% of your plan, but we want to talk after the election. That's fine. I'm willing to talk after the election. I just think both sides of the aisle need to take this serious.
So what's in their plan that they actually took from yours? Because I've gone through their plan line by line. And be perfectly honest with you, I don't see what's in their plan they released and even mirrors what's in yours.
Well, like I said, both plans between both parties are lacking. So, this is what they did. You have to look at the contract with Black America and see where the overlap is. But, the thing that what I tried to make them understand is, they have programs, and both parties have programs that are built for minorities and people of color and diversity and urban and these words that don't include us, because they include us, but we only get a small portion most of the time of these programs. So we have to train all politicians that we are Black people, Black Americans, most of them, and I'm specifically talking about the descendants of slavery. And we have to be dealt with, or our concerns have to be rectified as that, and not as a blanket thing with all other minorities. That puts us under 100% of the population here. And I don't know if we can ever get up out of that.
But with your contract, it lists these 13 different points here. And again, in their plan, what do you see in the Platinum Plan they released that mentions that mirrors anything that's in yours?
You got, if I'm looking at it, agreeing to direct VC money to Black investment companies up to $40 billion.
See, a lot of people have been talking about this $500 billion. That's not going to Black people. In fact, that's just actually the infrastructure funding program. That's not actually $500 billion going to Black people. And then when they say,
well, how many billion is the other one given to Black people?
No. That's not. No, I'm saying is that's not even. They list this thing under Black economic empowerment and access to capital. It says seek infrastructure funding that will lead to widespread growth in the annual $500 billion federal contracting opportunities. Even that line right there is not for Black people. That's federal contracting opportunities for everybody. So that's not. So they're trying to make it sound like, $500 billion to Black people. It's not. That's the actual annual program overall for everybody.
Yeah, I understand what you see in that, but it's really up to us to try to direct that money to Black people.
Right. But there's a difference.
If we're not in contact or not talking to a certain administration, because we're on another team and they win, then what do we do? Just sit back and wait?
Oh, no.
4 years?
No. I agree with you 100% on that because
all of them got flaws in their plan. All of them got holes in their plan. Like I said, they put out this stuff, not me.
Right. I'm just trying to find
and told them what I think. And so from there, they ran with it and did what they wanted to do with it. That's not really my concern. My concern more is making sure that both of these candidates understand that this money has to be directed to Black people. It's a lot of language in both plans that are iffy, tricky, and are there really to make sure we don't get the money. So it's really up to people to engage and make sure that money go where it's supposed to go. But, I agree. We've been lied to for a long time, for 400 years or more. And so, one thing I know is we have to do something different. And, one thing is never being too one-sided, hard-headed, proud to speak to whoever's in power. Every great man in the world has spoke to somebody in power at some point in time, whether they agree with them or not. Listen.
Right.
So for me, I told everybody what I was going to do, and I did it. And, they exploited it. But if I would have, did something for Biden, they would have exploited it too. So that's just part of the game. The thing is this. The thing is to get movement. The thing is to make sure that we move the needle no matter who's elected.
I agree.
Our program has to be pushed through. So non-dialogue to me is
No. Here's the deal.
How you do it.
Here's the deal, Cube. I'm not against dialogue. I sat in 2 meetings with Trump and with other television anchors as well. I've been challenging them. Well, I want you to come talk to Black media. I know of other African Americans who've been meeting with them on PPP, on other issues as well. That they can appeal to disaffected Black men. They point blank. They know Black women don't like them.
Why can they appeal to that demographic? Who's not appealing to that demographic? How can they swoop in and get it?
Who?
That should have been covered.
What do you mean?
This is what I'm asking. How can they swoop in and get something that's supposed to be covered?
Well, first of all, that's not the case because in 2012, between Obama and Romney, there was a 9-point gap between Black men and Black women who voted for Obama and Romney. In 2013, with Trump and Hillary Clinton, that expanded to 13%. Now, when you look at 2020, they believe that, we think there's an opportunity here for us to be able to appeal to Black men on economic policies because they say Black women can't stand it.
Well, it's not being done for Black men in this country that the number is growing.
Because, first of all, because the difference between Black men and Black women, Black men are more likely to be.
Why don't the
hold up. You asked the question. I'm going to answer it. Because this is from focus groups, from polling data. Black men are more appealed by Trump's anti-immigration position than Black women. That's one. That's one of the issues there. One of the issues that we also see is that we've seen where Black men feel as if the Democrats have appealed more to Black women than Black men. Thirdly, Donald Trump, by touting the First Step Act, saying he got criminal justice reform done and Democrats didn't, which is actually a lie. The mistake that Democrats have made is they haven't taken credit for the First Step Act because if the Democrats don't pass it in the House, it actually don't get done. And so they see an opportunity to be able to target Black men who are disaffected by both parties by appealing to their pocketbooks, their 401ks, by using tax policy, and that's what their strategy is.
So what's the Democrat strategy to target Black men?
And that's one of the things that I've been challenging them on as well by saying when you have a problem, when you see 9 points in 2012 to go to 13 points in 2016, and it might go to 20, you got a problem. So you better focus on that and shore it up, which means you better speak to those issues, speak to those men, having those surrogates doing it, but also speaking to the policies. I've been covering this very issue when it comes to these Black men for months. Now, if Democrats haven't done it, now folks are sort of trying to pay attention now. But I actually was talking to Tom Perez and the DNC about this 4 years ago. So I gotta ask you this shit too, because on that particular point there. So I got an email from someone and they said, Why is Ice Cube only talking about this contract now? So the person wanted me to ask, where was Ice Cube during the primary? Where is he in 2018? How do you answer people who say that?
I was actually just, being an artist, rapping, thinking all this stuff was covered, thinking people that actually was in power was out doing their job, making sure they had something specifically for Black people to win. And when I looked up, I realized all this stuff is not specifically for Black people. It's for minorities. It's for people of color. It's for everybody but us. So, I had to kind of take it upon myself to do something that was strictly for Black people and write something up with some very smart, educated people and come up with a plan. It all happened after George Floyd was killed. So that's where I've been. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't have to do it if it was being done.
But actually,
where has this contract been? Since the 60s. Since the 60s, we've had over 7,000. Hello?
No. You're on. Go ahead. I'm listening. You're on.
Since the 60s, we've had over 7,000 Black people elected in office in high positions throughout this country. Over 7,000. And we haven't moved an inch. So don't ask me where have I been. The question is, where the hell are you at?
Well, here's the deal, though. I want on that particular point, I want to bring in Alicia Garza, co-founder of Black Voters Matter. She also is with the Black Futures Lab. Q, you may not be aware of this. You may be aware. They put out this massive Black census project.
Policies and laws, we have to get in the game and stay in the game. And I don't think it's a simple, you give me this, I get that back, I give you this, you get that back. We have to govern an entire country, and we can't govern that way. Donald Trump is governing that way, and that's what's not working. I also want to just offer here that for me, I've heard Van Jones and others say that people need to go to the people in power. And I actually, think I understand the premise behind that. But what it overshadows, in my mind, is it allows them to get off the hook for all of the other egregious things that they do to our communities. I can't help but feel sick when I hear Donald Trump, talking about the First Step Act, but then also telling the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. And I don't get to actually look past that. That impacts my everyday life. I get death threats every single day from people who are listening to this president. And therefore, I don't have any confidence that even in the sense that he implements something like the First Step Act when it's convenient for him and talks mess about it when it's not, I don't have any confidence that the amount of power has been built actually to get these things done. I don't fault you for trying to move an agenda, but I don't think we can take any shortcuts here, and I certainly don't think we can jump the line. And, it would be one thing if people actually weren't working on this every day. Imagine what we could do together, Cube, if I had access to a platform
Hold on.
But I don't have an
hold on, Alicia. I know Cube has to go, but Cube, go.
This contract has been out for months, so there's been, if anybody wanted to work with me, I've been open invitation from day one to work together, make the platform better, and nobody has, or very few have come out to do that. So. I'm not going to wait to get nobody's line. If I feel like I could speak for Black people, I'm going to go speak for Black people to whoever. And, you have a plan for Biden win, but what's your plan if Trump wins? You have to have a plan for either president. And so in either administration, we can't just go dormant because this is the problem I think that's been happening with us.